Thanks, Nicholson.
I can't move it.
What?
I want to turn it that way a little bit, but that's okay.
What are you talking about?
The angle of the camera. I want to.
We could just shift.
That's all right. What is up, interwebs? Big Lou here. Matt, the Cut Man, with me as always. And this is our full review of the last 4-episode arc of Clone Wars Season 7.
Yeah, it is.
The Siege of Mandalore. We are going to treat this like Dave Filoni had actually intended it as a movie. Because the runtime on these 4 episodes is 110 minutes, which is, I mean, that's a full movie. So, granted, that's, including credits and stuff like that. But without any further ado, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it, because we are diving way deep and getting all the way into it.
Just the way you like it.
Yes. Cutman, what did you think of Siege of Mandalore?
I think that I enjoyed that more than the previous 3 films.
Yeah.
Previous 3 saga films.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
It was just everything that you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Because the fact that it actually made episode 3 better.
Yeah.
It gave it so much nuance. It gave it so much backstory. It made me go back and rewatch episode 3.
I was going to ask, have you seen episode 3 now that you've rewatched all of Clone Wars?
And it means so much more to me.
Yeah.
It makes Star Wars better. It makes the show better. Everything is better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't say enough good about it.
Yeah, no, it was. It was absolutely fantastic. Right from the opening old school Lucasfilm logo. I mean, we're talking like I hit play on it and I was like, wait, did I start the right thing?
Yeah, I had the same reaction. Is this the thing? I don't know.
And then, of course, we get the traditional main Star Wars fanfare, John Williams fanfare, not the Clone Wars theme, which I was like, wait a minute, well, okay, I like this. This is good.
It made Turkish ears perk up.
I'm sure it did. Yeah. So, but that opening sequence where we see just that one quick shot of Grievous, he looks so badass, and it was on screen for just a split second. It's the only time we saw him in the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, so diving right in, that opening bridge battle. Did you notice how that mirrors the battle in the original Clone Wars movie? The thing that started it all off?
You brought that up to me. I didn't catch it at first.
Yeah.
But of course, now that you mention it, that's all I can see.
Yeah.
But then the roles are reversed.
Yeah, for sure. In the opening movie, it's Obi-Wan surrendering and stalling for time, and then in this one, it's Anakin doing it with Rex and the guys hanging under the bridge.
Right. And it's like Anakin at his peak Jedi prowess.
Yes.
It's like he will never be more powerful than he is right now as a Jedi.
As a Jedi, yeah. And I loved how one of my favorite things that this show does is it shows the camaraderie and the brotherhood that Obi-Wan and Anakin had for one another.
You were my brother!
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but it goes back to the scene with Luke in A New Hope where Obi-Wan is talking to him in his hut, and he says, he was a great pilot, he was a cunning warrior, and he was a good friend. It's like, all of that, we never saw that in the other 2, in the prequel movies.
No, it was always, Anakin was like this annoying kid that Obi-Wan was chasing after, and he was they were never really like on the same page, they were never really equals until now you see them as like both Jedi equals.
Yeah, for sure.
It was the depths that they touch on in this series is what you want in Star Wars.
Yeah, and that is even just compounded in this episode. We see the 2 of them bantering back and forth, and we see the vast differences in their characters where, Anakin's, just standing up there dodging bullets and blaster bolts rather, and Obi-Wan's doing, trying to do the smart thing and stuff like that. So that opening battle was fantastic.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal. So, we didn't really waste any time at all in that episode. We jumped right to, they get the call from Fulcrum, which I thought was a nice...
good callback to Rebels.
Yeah, for sure. And Ahsoka's already going by Fulcrum, which kind of retcons a little bit some of the stuff in the Ahsoka novel, because that explains why she started calling herself Fulcrum and stuff like that. The timeline's just a little bit off, but I'll forgive it. I'm not going to be, well, actually, I'm not going to be that guy, because I liked the nod. It worked really, really well. So we see that little war council there with Ahsoka and Bo-Katan and Anakin and Obi-Wan. And Bo-Katan just right off the bat throws Satine in Obi-Wan's face. And Obi-Wan's she goes, I thought you cared about my sister. And he's just like, I did. I still do. But I'm not going to let my feelings for her cloud my judgment. And the look on Anakin's face when he says that is, wait, you're not? Really? Why not?
He's like, well, I have.
Yeah, I mean, so it goes to the core of who Anakin is versus who Obi-Wan is.
Right. Now, can I just say,
please,
I had to point this out to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Obi-Wan is played by Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
Ewan McGregor was the co-lead in the movie Moulin Rouge, which the leading lady was named Satine. Did anybody else catch that, or is it just me? Am I the only theater nerd here?
I'm wondering if Filoni did that on purpose, because that's something that he would do. I didn't even put that together.
Yeah.
When did Moulin Rouge come out?
98.
Okay, yeah, no, so it would have been. Yeah.
It was Nicole Kidman famously played
for sure.
Satine, the tragically. It's basically a Greek tragedy.
Yeah, it really is.
Musical based in Paris in the late 1800s.
Yeah, great movie. If you like musicals, Baz Luhrmann, good stuff. Go check it out. But we get Anakin's reaction to that, and it's just fantastic that he's just. It's very, very subtle and very, very quick, but it goes to foreshadowing Anakin's inability to
separate the Jedi code from his own personal feelings.
Yeah.
And the road he ultimately goes down, which we all know.
Yeah.
And that's what's the heartbreaking part of it.
Speaking of heartbreaking, we go right from that into the hallway scene where Anakin and Ahsoka are finally having a chance to talk. And we know it's the last time they're going to talk and see each other before they have their showdown at the end of Season 2 of Rebels.
Speaking of Greek tragedy.
I know, it's
going down this path, and you know these two are never going to be able to come back together.
Yeah, and we get that reveal of the Tano troopers, and as soon as you see the troopers with her, markings on their helmets, you know that's not going to end well, because we know that Order 66 is right around the corner.
You know that they are going to try and kill her. Yeah. And they have no choice. Yeah. That they will be basically Terminators.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Very good analogy there. And then we get one of my favorite Ahsoka showing that how far she's come is when she basically calls out Obi-Wan and is like, no. I'm going to save the people of Mandalore. You're going to save the Chancellor. You're going to save the politician. And Obi-Wan's just like, he knows she's right. And he hates that she's right.
Right.
But there's nothing he can do.
Yeah. He is a cog in the bureaucracy of this, and he's just gotten himself in too deep. And there's nothing that he can do. But she's outside of the Jedi Order, and she can just do what she wants. She can go with Bo-Katan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is obviously the right call.
Yeah. By the way, and I'm sure we'll talk about this again later on, but if Bo-Katan and Katie Sackhoff is not in Season 2 of The Mandalorian, that will be a wasted opportunity.
Yes, because obviously Katie Sackhoff is the voice of Bo-Katan.
Yes.
And Katie Sackhoff, if you're watching this, you're obviously a sci-fi fan, and you know Katie Sackhoff is Starbuck.
Yeah.
And she obviously needs to be Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
Why has that not already happened?
Yeah. I think I understand why it wasn't in the first season, but yeah, if she's not in Season 2, I'll be very, very disappointed. So, especially since now we have it's almost all but confirmed that Rosario Dawson is going to be Ahsoka in season 2 of The Mandalorian. So, and then we go to the biggest moment, I think, of this whole interaction is Anakin giving Ahsoka back her lightsabers.
Oh, yeah.
But he's
updated them.
He's updated them. And at the time I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's a little tribute. And then I really, started hearing some other people talking about it, and I started thinking about it, and I'm like, that more than anything else goes to the Anakin's inability to, what did I put here?
Let things be.
It's the depth of character for Anakin. He does not know how to let someone have their total independence. It's his, I love you so much, I made these just like mine.
Right.
Type of a thing. It's his inability to, and like even Ahsoka just kind of rolls her eyes at him a little bit with it, and it's like
the obviously I know better.
Yeah. It's like, well, what makes you know better? Who are you to know better? And that more than anything else is what ultimately leads Anakin, down the dark path.
Right.
It's his inability to, everyone's all like, oh, it's his love for Padme. And no.
It's his narcissism.
Yes.
It's his narcissistic path. It's everyone needs to fall under my control.
Yeah.
Because I know best.
Yeah. Daddy knows best. And it's that just, he's such a great hero, but he's too heroic for his own good.
Yeah.
So, and then of course we have, did you have, what?
No.
Okay.
I was waiting for the next part, which I think I know what you're going to talk about.
The race to the bottom.
Oh, I thought we were jumping ahead to the duel, but go ahead.
Well, the moment where they're on their way into...
Oh, yeah, they're making the descent.
Yeah. And we see the little cameo of Sabine from Rebels. Sabine's mom is there on the communicator talking.
Because of the colored face paint.
Yeah, so which I thought was really, really cool. And it makes sense that she would be there. Also, and we saw Kanan. A young Kanan in the...
I didn't catch that initially, but apparently I read it in the blogosphere.
Yeah. So, and then they're, Bo-Katan says, you all got jetpacks? What are you doing? Get out there! And they all go do their Mandalorian thing and start flying around. And Rex says to Ahsoka, I'm sorry, kid, I didn't bring you a jetpack. And she's like, I didn't need one. And whoosh, it's fantastic.
As soon as she jumped out, I thought to myself of... Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Was he wearing a parachute?
No, he wasn't. But that scene is very significant because it's foreshadowing something that will happen later.
Yes.
In the finale.
Yeah.
And of course we don't know it at the time. We just think it's Ahsoka being a badass, and of course she is.
Yes, she is.
But and then once they kind of get a foothold there on Mandalore, then we have Maul's trap, where he catches them in the
in the throne room.
In the sewers.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And they have their first little thing, and he's like, "Why are you here? What are you doing?"
Right,
here?
I was hoping for Kenobi.
So yeah, and then we see him leading them on a wild goose chase, and then
leading them on a merry chase.
And then of course he ultimately captures Jesse. And he starts doing the Kylo Ren thing, and we start hearing some of, what does Maul know versus what he doesn't know. And Maul, to me, is probably my number 2 favorite character in all of the Clone Wars. Next to Ahsoka.
Yeah, no, Ahsoka's definitely number 1. And Maul, I always said Maul was the most underutilized villain ever until we see him in Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that we do, because he is just such a badass character.
Yeah, for sure. Total badass. And he's...
he is a stone cold killer.
Yeah. There was a comic called The Sons of Dathomir that takes place kind of in between, right in the Clone Wars. After he and after Savage dies and he gets captured and stuff like that. There's this comic about how he escapes and stuff like that, which is just fantastically written. It's great stuff. So, and then we get up to the little war meeting, and Anakin checks in. Or not Anakin, but Obi-Wan checks in.
Yeah.
And now we have that moment where he was like, well, now, Ahsoka, it's all on you now, because Anakin killed our hope to find out who Darth Sidious actually is.
Right, when he killed Dooku.
Yeah. So when you saw that and you were thinking, oh, we're right in the thrall. This is happening at the same time that Episode 3 is happening.
They've synchronized. The time has synchronized. Because I thought maybe it's just going to sync up and just kind of kiss the opening of 3. But I'm so happy that it actually is showing the events that are happening on the other side of the galaxy. Just the other side of that coin. And, of course, we do see that. And we also know that maybe Ahsoka could have tipped the scale.
It's so poignant.
Maybe she could have said something.
We
don't know.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast talking about this sequence. And the scene in Revenge of the Sith when Obi-Wan is getting on the ship to go to... Utapau to get Grievous, and he's having that last moment, that last time that he and Anakin are going to talk,
right
before they have their duel at the end. And he says, "You're a far wiser man than I. You're a great Jedi." You know, he's giving him, they're telling him these things, but he's not a friend. He's doing it as a Jedi, and Anakin didn't need the Jedi. He needed. And what somebody said was, what if this was Obi-Wan's way of, stepping in? This is kind of maybe what I think Ahsoka would have said, but I don't know because I'm not Ahsoka, and this is the best that I can do, and stuff like that. And that I will never be able to watch that scene again without knowing that Ahsoka should be there, and what chance would Anakin... It just makes it so much more tragic.
Right. It does. We're all back to Greek tragedy.
Yeah,
that's what this is.
Yeah, it is. It's great stuff. And then, of course, we get the throne room scene, the confrontation with Maul, and he's just waving blaster bolts around and stuff like that. It's just
it's one of the best lightsaber scenes in all of Star Wars. Period.
I agree.
End of sentence.
Completely. And it's made that much more powerful knowing that it's actually Ray Park.
Yeah.
They're doing
that. Ray did that,
he
man.
did the motion capture for it and the whole thing. It's just fantastic. And the girl that they got the mocap to do Ahsoka's part too. She wasn't no joke. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't any joke.
She had to be acrobatic and she had to be able to stand up against Ray Park.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy task.
There's so much. One of the things that Dave Filoni said at Celebration last year was there's just something unique about the way that Ray moves. And you can see it. There's he's doing this thing with the saber and he does this little double hop. He does this jump. It's kind of brings his foot up and does this little hop. And it's that's exactly how he moves. And
Yeah, and I like because when you watch the fight between Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan in Episode 1, you definitely get the feeling that either of the two of them against him are outmatched.
Yes.
Because he's got this, double-bladed saber. And then when you see the fight between him and Ahsoka, she's got not a double-bladed saber, she's got two sabers.
Yeah.
So it's two very different styles, but they're both dialed up to 10.
Yeah.
And it's this is definitely an even match.
Yeah.
From a weaponry standpoint.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, and it's definitely clear that Ahsoka knows that she's not as good as he is, and just doing everything that she can, and she's even kind of catcalling him a little bit. It's a good thing Anakin's not here, otherwise you would have, because the way you're fighting, you wouldn't have lasted long. And it's driving that knife in, trying to throw him off his game a little bit to get in his head,
bring a little emotion into it, which is not supposed to have.
Yeah, for sure. But we finally hear the revelation of, I set all this up, I put all this in motion so that I could kill Anakin. And we have that wonderful come join me moment that, it's reminiscent of Vader to Luke, it's reminiscent of Kylo to Rey. It's It's the dark calling to the light, saying, "Come, join me."
Yeah, I have the better argument here. You know it's going to be better with me. Just do it.
And she does. She agrees. And she's like, "I will join you. But tell me one thing first. What do you want with Anakin?"
Uh-huh.
And then the other shoe drops. And she's like, "Yeah, no. Sorry, dude. You got to go. Because I know Anakin." And as she says that, she pulls the blue blades out that he made for her. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, it's fantastic. It's just great stuff. And then the fight.
Yeah. So good. Again, the really one of the best lightsaber duels in all of Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then we have that, Wile E. Coyote moment through the, where she throws him through the window and the saber blades are sticking out.
I noticed that. That's so funny.
It's great. It's great stuff. And then we have the rest of the battle, obviously, and they end up catching him, and just in glorious fashion, she uses his arrogance against him. He thinks she has her beat, and to a Sith, my weapon is my life. This is everything that I am. You're defenseless. You have nothing, and she clearly doesn't. She has the Force,
right,
and is able to get one over on him. And then we hear Maul screaming, "Let me die. You're all going to die. You're going to burn." And it just reminds me of when you rewatch the battle between Maul and Obi-Wan in the Rebels episode Twin Sons. Mm-hmm. When he kills him, and Maul is dying, he's relieved.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
He's like, I can finally let the anger go, and I can just
his journey is over.
Yeah,
and he is just like, I've had enough. Let's be done.
Yeah. It's the catching Maul there was fantastic, and then I forgot to mention, we see before the big battle. Did you catch the Dryden Voss cameo? Do you know who Dryden Voss is?
Yeah.
Paul Bettany's character.
Paul Bettany from Solo.
Yeah, there's a quick shot where the two Mandalorian generals are walking in on Maul, and he's talking to a bunch of holograms. Mm-hmm. One of the holograms that he's talking to is Dryden Voss.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is really cool. A little salute to Solo. So, and then we get to the next council. And it's the same dialogue from Revenge of the Sith,
right?
And he's like, an Anakin, Yoda says
that one,
the little green one, says to a dark place this will take us. And in the movie,
we all know where it's going.
Yeah, well, in the movie, that scene cuts right there.
Right. Oh, right.
But now we see that scene doesn't cut. Ahsoka walks in.
Right.
And I love that.
Because Anakin walks out and Ahsoka walks in. It's just like that missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, what if they had actually... It's just, it's like a sliding doors effect.
Yeah. And it's the hubris of the Jedi. They were talking about... It's one of the things that Luke was talking to Rey about in Rise of Skywalker. Not Rise of Skywalker. In
The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. Which is like the hubris of the Jedi.
Yeah. You see what he's talking about.
Yeah. And Mace Windu, and I love Mace Windu. I think he's a great character. Mm-hmm. But Mace Windu is the physical representation of the Jedi's hubris.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. No, he is absolutely steadfast in his belief that they will see everything coming.
Yes.
And this evil is rising up, and he has no idea.
Yeah.
He's completely blindsided by it.
Yeah.
And it's especially captured when the fact that Anakin cuts his hands off.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when...
Unlimited power!
Which I love that they use the movie dialogue for that scene. When we have the Anakin's eventual fall right there.
Right.
But the sequence there, and she's like, I did my duty as a citizen. And he's like, I'm sorry, citizen. This is for the Jedi Council to discuss.
Exactly.
Imagine what would have happened if... he had said, okay, this is blah, blah, blah. And she would have told the council what Maul was thinking about Anakin and how he's been, manipulated and being groomed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And but it didn't. And we know that it didn't. And it's just all of us just sitting there going,
Two paths diverge in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by.
Yeah, for sure.
And that has made all the difference. They should have taken the one less traveled by.
Yeah. And then we get a real...
Robert Snow predicted it.
Robert Frost.
Robert Frost. Robert Snow.
Yeah, no, he's not a bastard from the north of Westeros.
He might have been. You don't know.
Oh, it's good stuff. And then after that meeting there, we get a nice moment between Rex and Ahsoka, where Rex is talking about, war sucks and I hate war, but if it wasn't for the war, I wouldn't exist.
Right.
And then Ahsoka, they have that nice moment where she's like, well, I couldn't have asked for a better friend, so some good came of this. And it's just, again, they're setting us up. And that whole episode leading up to the Order 66.
The Order 66.
You could just feel it. The tension is just palpable. Seeing Maul in that Mandalorian box that's just, Hannibal Lecter style.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, with the thing over his mouth and just, it's like...
Hello, Clarice.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, Ahsoka. Trying to keep it, when's it going to happen? We know it's going to happen. Where's it going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. And then eventually, Commander Rex, there's a new message coming in for you. No, don't go read that message. Don't. And then I put here big all caps, rips my heart out of my asshole. Yeah. Because that sequence where they all turn on her and he's resisting, and if you look close, he's got a tear coming down, and he's just amazing. And then they all start opening fire, and she doesn't kill any of them.
Yeah.
She deflects everything up.
It says everything about her.
Yeah. Yeah. It really does. And I put on here that it says so much that Ahsoka, to me, embodies the true what a Jedi is supposed to be.
Right.
Because even if you go back and rewatch Revenge of the Sith, what is Obi-Wan and Yoda doing to the clones that they're fighting when they're going into the temple? Right. Yoda flat out beheads two of them that were there on Kashyyyk.
Oh, so, yeah.
They're
double backflip, bajoom!
Which was cool to watch, but it shows you that the Jedi have completely forgotten who they are. And it takes the Ahsoka's little trip with the two twin sisters in the arc before us that everyone was bitching about to realize that, no, communing with the people and talking to the people, we were raised to be keepers of the peace, not soldiers. It goes back to something that that's the exact same thing that Qui-Gon said in
episode 1.
In episode 1.
Yeah.
We're keepers of the peace, not soldiers. And
I can protect you. I can't fight a wolf.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the line. So, but yeah, it's great. And then, of course, in a fit of desperation, she lets Maul out. And was that the right call? It
was a self-preservation call.
Yeah.
It was, I need a distraction. I need him to make all of those, I need to draw the fire over to him in order for me to get to Rex, in order to remove his chip.
I have to save my friend.
Right.
And I'm going to do everything that I can to help to save my friend. And it was fantastic. And then we get the, looking up about fives, and we see Rex's, comment is like, plea to the heavens. I don't think anyone's ever going to see this, but I think the Kaminoans don't even know what they've done to us.
Yeah.
And then we have the escape. Oh, I love how it was the droids that helped save Rex.
Yeah.
Even though he was a soldier who'd been killing droids for 3 years.
Right.
I love that.
And then they sacrificed themselves.
Yeah.
And quite tragically, might I add. I mean, the clones really had no remorse. No remorse about just...
Yeah. Well, it goes to... And I get why they did that story-wise, because if you had just left them there, they've only got a 2-seater ship. They couldn't take the droids with them.
Right.
So what? You just, thanks for your help. Sorry, droids. Go die now.
But so I also think that it helps transition the clones that we have come to know and love.
No. I absolutely agree.
Into stormtroopers.
Yeah.
These faceless, nameless killing machines. And that was proof of it. that this chip in their head said, you kill these droids, okay, I will just boom.
Yeah, yeah. And then, of course, we know that eventually all the clones were phased out, replaced with, soldiers.
Brainwash.
Yeah, the stormtroopers were, victims of the propaganda machine of the Empire. And stuff like that. So, yeah. And then we get, before that we have the Maul's hallway scene, where he's just killing the clones.
Oh, Vader-esque style.
Yeah.
Yes, that was very satisfying.
It was
where he had like the two doors held up by the Force in front of him.
Being shields.
He didn't have a lightsaber, and he was just slaying.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love the line he says to her. It's like, I don't suppose you want to give me a fighting chance, and she's like, I'm not rooting for you, dude. And then he's like, fine, and it turns out he didn't need it.
No,
he's got the Force.
Oh, yeah,
so good.
that just cements Maul's legacy as one of the best Force wielding entities in the universe.
Absolutely agree. So eventually, we see, obviously, Rex and Ahsoka escape, but not without having that free fall through the debris, which mirrors their race in the first episode.
Right.
Which I thought was fantastic. Could she have made it down safely without him rescuing her? Maybe. Who knows? But he's still frantically flying and trying to get her, and eventually he does.
Now, I don't know if because most people haven't, but I don't know if you've ever seen footage of the Space Shuttle Columbia breaking up as it re-entered the atmosphere.
Not any detailed footage, no.
They're able to recapture what a spacecraft breaking up in the upper atmosphere looks like incredibly well.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. It starts out as like a single mass, and then parts kind of start to break off, and they all have their own contrails.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we know this because
it happened.
7 people gave their lives to show us.
Yeah.
But they got it right.
Yeah. It's so
really interesting. The detail of the physics of it were dead on.
It's the detail. That's the word. The detail that this show gives is just phenomenal, and I love it so much. And then of course we have that last moment with them burying the clones' bodies, and she leaving her lightsaber behind as faking their deaths and stuff like that. This is really cool. Somebody that I follow on Twitter had mentioned it, that the Ahsoka novel, the audiobook of the Ahsoka novel, is done by Ashley Eckstein.
Right.
So that scene is the prologue of the Ahsoka novel.
Oh, interesting.
So because she's reading it, someone took the voice audio from that audiobook and put it over that scene. So that it's like Ahsoka's narrating her inner monologue of what she's thinking while that scene is happening.
Great.
I'm like, oh, that's fantastic.
It's great.
So, and then of course, a certain amount of time has passed, and we see a blanket of snow and just the stark blank whiteness that is so representative of the Empire.
Right.
And of course we have all the stormtroopers, and then here comes...
And then the original shuttle.
Yeah.
And it's there's no modifications. That's the shuttle. That's the iconic shuttle. Yep. The tri-wing shuttle.
Yep, for sure. And then we see Vader.
And then you hear the respirator.
Yeah. And
it's just what you want.
Did that ending work for you?
Oh, yeah. It was very satisfactory.
Yeah.
Because you know where it's going, and it connects directly to the story.
Yeah. You and I had a conversation many months ago at this point about TV shows whose the finale of the show is notoriously disappointing.
Yeah.
Dexter, Game of Thrones, several others.
Don't even want to talk about it.
I know, right? This shows what it's like when they get it right.
It's exactly right.
This was the perfect. Now, would I have liked the final shot to have been, Ahsoka and Rex saying, "Oh, well, now we're gonna go blah blah blah, do this." That's in my head.
I feel like we'll get that. We know where they're going, and I feel like there was more to the Ahsoka and Rex story.
Yeah.
And I feel like we will get that in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I hope so. Anyway, we have rambled on long enough. I love this show so much. If you're still watching this, please drop a comment down below and tell us how much you love Star Wars and you love the Clone Wars. And I know that probably there's going to be 5 people that watch this all the way to the end. 2 of them are sitting right here because we're just that narcissistic. But anyway, that's going to do it for us.
Not wrong.
May the Force be with you guys, and we will catch you on whatever it is that we do next time.